Hello students, Mr. Sims presents video lessons, and this is equations day 2 video. And in today's video, as it's blurry and do a little focus in here, all right, move this up just a little bit, there we go. All right, so in today's installment of video lessons, what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at solving equations, and I'm just going to say with everything possible. All right, so in the last couple of days between our class and the Fast and Furious class, we have learned how to solve equations where we've had to, number one, simplify before we solved. And simplify involved distributing and combining. And then we've talked about what happens when variables are on both sides. Right. So now, equations with everything. They look very messy, they look very complicated, but when you solve an equation that has everything involved, number one, it must be simplified. And when we simplify, we're going to look at both sides. You're going to simplify side to side. So you're going to look on the left side, you're going to look on the right side, you're going to simplify each side. Then, if you have variables on both sides, then you're going to get the variable on the same side, and then you can go ahead and solve. So, just to show you a couple of examples of this. So, first example. Example 1. And all we're going to have is a couple of examples and then exercises. This should be a fairly short video, or as far as number of examples. So in the first example, we have the following expression. 7, then it's x plus 2 equals 5, and then x plus 4. So this is a very kind of a basic one when you look at the spectrum of the complexity of these problems. It just looks weird to me. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify. So I'm going to split this down the middle just like I normally would. Say I've got some stuff on the left and I got some stuff on the right. So I'm going to simplify both by distributing. So in this case, we're going to distribute. So we get 7x plus 14. Here we distribute to 5, and we get 5x plus 20. Right? Okay, so now that we've looked on the left side, no like terms to combine. Okay, and keep in mind, remember, when they're on separate sides, we can't just put them together. All right, so now I'm going to get the variable on the same side. So I have an x on this side and an x on this side. So I'm going to move the smaller one. So I'm going to subtract the 5x. And you should do this first. It's not saying you have to do it first, but if you get the x's taken care of, or the variable taken care of first, then, you know. All right, 2x plus 14 equals 20. Because keep in mind, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get x alone. And how can you get x alone if you've got, you know, x's on both sides? All right, so now from here, it should be smooth sailing. And there's no negatives in this, so there shouldn't be any negative mistakes that appear. This would be 6. And then divide both sides by 2, x equals 3. Okay. So you can see these take a little bit more time, and this is why it's important to, and this is the problems I was talking about showing all your steps. Because if you don't show all your steps, you actually can kind of confuse yourself. All right, this is for those of you that like to just, you know, try to do these problems in your head. All right, the next example that we're looking at, and bring this over so I can see it. 5 minus 3, then in parentheses, z plus 6 equals z minus 1 plus 8z. All right, now I'm going to split this right down the middle. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to look to simplify on both sides. So we're going to look at the left side, we're going to look at the right side, and we're going to do the simplifying. So on the left side, I can distribute. Keep in mind, that's a negative 3 that gets distributed. That's where, you know, some of you maybe tend to make mistakes. So it's negative 3 times z, so it'll be negative 3z, and negative 3 times positive 6 would be negative 18. On the right side, I have a 1z. I don't have any distributing to do, but I can do some combining. So I'm going to put those together and get 9z minus 1. Okay. Right side is simplified. Left side, I still got some more work to do. So I can actually put the 5 together with the minus 18. So I get negative 3z. 5 minus 18. If I have $5, but I need to pay 18, I don't have enough money, I need to borrow 13. And then I get 9z minus 1. All right, so you can see as we're going, it's getting a little bit. And some of you mentioned the tornado that you might have remembered from last year where it starts off really long and then it gets shorter and shorter as we go. All right, so now we're going to do the variables on the same side. So I got a negative 3z over here, and I got a 9z over here. Where we talked about taking the smaller one. So I'm going to add 3z to both sides. So on the left side, I have negative 13. On the right side, I got 12z minus 1. Okay, so I had to add that 3z. All right, so now from here, worked from the right side, so I'm going to add 1 to both sides. I'm writing a little smaller here because I'm running out of room. Negative 12 equals 12z. All right, I'm just going to rewrite this over here because I've run out of room. Negative 12 equals 12z. Over there is a bit. All right. And then now I just divide both sides by 12. By 12. And I get negative 12 divided by positive 12, negative 1 equals z. All right? Or you can say z equals negative 1. All right, so you can see the two problems, they take a little bit more time. All right? So on the next page, I'm going to write 2 exercises. This will be your checkpoint. So you would check in with me after you've done these 2 exercises, and we'll move on from there to the fluency portion. So exercise number 1. All right. So A, and you want to give yourself some space to do these two. 10 minus x minus 3x equals 7x minus 23 for 1. And the second one, I'm going to write this down here a little further because you do want to give yourself some room to do these problems. 13 minus 13x minus 2, x plus 4 equals negative 3x plus 1 plus 11x. Right. So check in with me when you're done, and then you can move on to the fluency. So for recorded lessons, this is Mr. Sims signing off.